Hey everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick guide on how to start your node empire in Black Desert. So nodes are very important because they let you passively make money while you're off doing other things, as well as gathering crafting materials that you can either craft with, sell in the auction house. It helps with the trade skill, trading between merchants, because you do need to unlock the nodes in between where you're buying goods and where you're selling goods to be able to get the best prices. And then also, it allows you to have storage space in each town to store all the different items that you're going to want to be holding on to. So the first thing that you want to take a look at with nodes on your mini-map, which by the way I have this filtered to where it's only showing the nodes, your map will look a lot more cluttered. But your first thing to pay attention to is the hotspot, or the hubs. These are the square icons. You can see them in different places: towns, guardhouses, camps, different things like that. And in the hubs, this is where you will start. First thing you want to do is see about getting you a residence, so getting you a house. When you look at the hub map, you can see that some of the houses are gray, some are white, some are blue. Blue houses are nodes that you can contribute in using your contribution points that you get from questing. And as you can see, this one can be used for storage up to 3 levels. Level 1 would give 3 more spaces, level 2, 5, and so on. Or it could be a shipyard to be able to craft ships. Or it could be a house for you to live in. So when you want to purchase something, you just make sure you have the usage that you want listed. If you ever want a shipyard, for example, make sure that you don't pick this one for storage or residence, otherwise you're going to have to go back and change its usage over, and sometimes that can be annoying, especially if you have it as storage and storage is almost full and you gotta make room and everything. But once you've decided what you want, just hit purchase storage. It'll tell you how many contribution points it's gonna take, how long it'll take. Most things only take a couple of minutes, some things can take a while. I believe the shipyard takes a while. No. But it does take some silver for the shipyard, whereas storage, there's no silver cost. Now once you have a residence, your hubs are also going to be where you're going to purchase your workers, or hire your workers. They're the ones that are going to be going out to all the other nodes and doing the actual work, farming, mining, everything like that. The first worker that you get in each hub does not need a place to live. Anything after that, and you're going to need to provide them lodging. So if we check this white one that I have, you can see I have this lodging at level 1. It lets me hire 1 more worker. If I level it up to level 2, I can hire 2 more workers, which would cost me 1,000 silver. So I'm going to go ahead and level that up. And after 2 minutes, I'll be able to hire another worker. The gray houses on the hub map are houses that you haven't unlocked the prerequisites for. So for example, this is 2-1, 2-2. I have to purchase 2-2 before I can purchase 2-3. And if you check the purchasing conditions, it tells you I need to purchase 2.3, and I can handily click right there to purchase it straight from there. But I don't want to do that right now. So now that we've got a place for your character to live, and we got, if you're hiring more than 1 worker, a place for your workers to live, we can back out of there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the work supervisor. You can always find the closest work supervisor by using the NPC search icon here, and then choosing worker, and it'll autopath you right to him. So when you talk to him, you you can either hit contract workers or look on the worker exchange. The worker exchange is where players are selling their workers, so you can tend to get some highly skilled workers with lots of different skills, but they are going to be kind of pricey to start out, so don't worry about those. Contract workers let you start with a fresh worker. Right now it won't let me look at that because I don't have the lodging yet. It's still working on building. But each time that you look at a contract worker, you're going to be spending 5 energy. So think of it as spending the time interviewing the worker to decide if you want to hire them. So it's kind of a random number. You hit it, it'll pop one up. If you like it, you can take it. Otherwise, you can spend another 5 energy to get a new worker. And so now that we have us a worker, we're going to look at how to set us up with a node. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to Balanos Forest and invest into Balanos Forest so that we can start gathering some herbs or lumber. I haven't decided which yet. So we'll pick up just a moment. I won't make you sit there and watch me run all the way there. So we'll pick up in just a moment. Okay, and so here we are at the farm. So the first thing that you're going to do when you get to a node, even if you're not going to spend contribution points, anytime you run through one, what you're going to want to do is talk to the node management. And once you talk to node management, then you'll be able to see the node details on your map. If you look over, let's see here, I believe this one, using the previous node, I can find that there is a node here, but I don't have any details about it because I haven't visited it and talked to the node manager. Now, other thing you need to keep in mind is that nodes do have to be bought in order, just like the houses. So starting from a hub, I already have invested into Bartelli Farm, which you can tell that by its kind of gold line as opposed to the white line signifying that you haven't invested in it. So as you can see, I have not invested in Balanos Forest. Once I do, this will turn gold. But if I hadn't yet invested in Bartelli Farm, then I would have to go and invest there first and branch out and so on and so on. So we're going to go ahead and talk to Daphne here. My conversation node management. And I'm going to go ahead and spend a contribution point. And so now, if I exit out of there, we can see that I now have it invested in. And so now that we are invested here, now we can spend some money on, or spend some contribution points investing in a gatherer to decide what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and talk to the node manager again. Go back to node management. And let's see here. I think I'm going to go with the herbs. So I'm going to go ahead and invest a contribution point. I have the contribution point. I don't have any available workers. So now what we're going to do, now that I have that invested in, is go ahead and head back to Velia. And now that my lodging will be finished, I can hire a new worker and send him out here. So I will be right back with you again. Okay, and so we're back in Velia, back at the work supervisor. So go ahead and talk to him and go ahead and contract a new worker. Go ahead and spend the 5 energy. And, skilled giant worker. That's actually pretty good for starting out. And it's going to cost me 10,000 to hire him. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hire. So now that I have an extra worker, you will see that you have an icon now up here that will let you view your workers list. And from your workers list, you can see what they're doing, how far they've progressed on whatever you set them to doing, as well as any skills that they've gotten for leveling up. They get a new skill every 5 levels. The skills are random. There's no way to pick. So if you get a end up with skills that you don't like, don't use, sell them on the exchange, and buy the ones that you do. So as you can see, this one is just queued. He's not doing anything, so we're going to go ahead and set him up. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the map, go back to the forest, and now he shows up as a worker. Now you can tell it how many times you want to do it. I recommend just always set it to the maximum. He'll just keep doing it over and over and over again. He's just going to gather herbs and deposit in my storage. Gather herb, deposit in my storage over and over and over again until he drops dead of exhaustion. So now that we've got him to work, I did mention dropping dead of exhaustion. They won't exactly drop dead, but they will stop working if their stamina gets too low. And so what does every working body need to keep their stamina up? Beer. Beer is what you pay your workers in Black Desert. So what we're going to do is real quick just teach you how to start setting up the beer. So you're going to open up your NPC map, find the cooking NPC, which here in Velia is in the inn just next to the mayor. I'm sure you've talked to him through the quest lines. And so we're just going to come in here, and what we're going to buy, the very first thing you're going to need to do is a cooking utensil. Now this is going to go in your house. You can buy the cheap cooking utensil, it's only 1,000 silver. If you spring for the Balanos traditional cooking utensil, it'll give you a +5 to your cooking times, so things will go a little bit faster, but it is 50,000, so that's up to you. Whichever one you want to buy is fine. The other thing that you're going to need to buy from him is leavening agents. Each beer that you make is going to need 2 leavening agents. You're going to need sugar, 1 sugar per beer, and mineral water, 6 mineral waters per beer. So we're just going to buy 12 of those, and buy 4 of those, and buy 2 of those. And so that's all we need to buy to make our beer. Didn't spend too much there. And now that we've had some workers going for a while, we're going to run back down to the storage manager. The last ingredient that you need for your beer is going to be some sort of grain or starch. So corn, wheat, barley, potatoes, any of that will do to make beer, and it'll be 5 of them per beer. That is why I do recommend when you first start out, I know I showed you the Balanos Forest, but start with, here in Velia, Bartina Farm and potato farming. I always have someone farming potatoes, and I also have some people farming corn over in Tuscany Farm. So that way I have plenty of materials to brew my beer. So go to my warehouse, I've got some potatoes, I've got some corn, we'll use some corn. So since I'm going to make 2 batches, I will need 10. Back out of there. And now we're going to go ahead and get over to my house. Apparently don't know where I'm going. There we go. Alright, as you can see, I already have my cooking unit here. If you've got it in your inventory, you'll just click up here, hit place mode. You'll select it from here, it'll show up in your inventory. Any of these ones with a P means that they cost real money. Don't worry about them. But you'll just click it, it'll highlight it, you'll drop it where you want, hit space to confirm it, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to spend any money. And then you will have your cooking utensil. So once you got that, you're going to come up here, hit R just like you do for anything else. Now, one thing to keep in mind with your cooking, it will let you just put in all 12 mineral waters if you want. Don't do that. Only put in enough for one batch. So in this case, we're going to do 5 corn, 1 sugar, 2 leavening agents, and 6 waters. Just enough for one batch, and then hit continuous production. And you'll see it even says place enough ingredients for one batch and decide how many times to mix the ingredients. Only place enough ingredients for one batch, the remaining ingredients will be removed. Don't click through there real quick, put a whole stack of 500 potatoes in and only get 1 beer out of it, because that sucks. Then just go ahead and hit maximum quality. It'll figure out of what you got in your inventory, how many times it can perform this recipe. In this case, 2. Hit OK, and your character will start cooking. At this point, you can just kind of walk away. When you start out, cooking will be very slow, but it'll rank up pretty quickly. Just from making beer over the last couple of days, you can see I'm already at Apprentice 4, so that's my highest skill so far. Second only thing close is fishing, where I'm at Apprentice 2. Okay, and now that we are done brewing our beer, you'll see that looks like we made on average 3 beers out of each of those recipes, so that was really good. Now we didn't get any extra items, so I'm going to run back to storage so that I can show you those extra items. Because there's a couple different reasons actually to be making beer. Not only can I now bring up my worker list and hit recover all, it'll tell me that it's going to use my beer, hit confirm, and it'll just recover them in order until it runs out of beer in my inventory. But when you successfully cook stuff, you have a chance to get other items. And so some of those other items, the most important one you want to keep an eye on is going to be dish with poorly prepared ingredients. As you can see, it'll tell you here in the tooltip that if you take it to Alejandro Farm, you can exchange 5 of them for contribution points. So as you're making your beer, these are popping out. Once you've got a good stack of them, run them over to Alejandro Farm real quick, trade them in for some free contribution points that you can add into expanding your worker nodes in your houses, your storage, everything like that. As well as you get a few other things that are nice. Dish with weird texture you can take to Heidel and exchange 5 of them for 3,000 silver coins. Definitely up better than selling them for 20 silver apiece. The strongly seasoned dish you can take to Heidel and exchange 3 of them for a milk. Milk you can sell in the auction house really easy. It always goes super quick. It's needed in a lot of different crafting recipes that are really popular. So always take time out of your day to do that. As well as the takeout food that you'll get from it, you can also exchange in Heidel for some extra cooking experience just to help level it up. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of beer here in stock, and I can either keep it for using to recover stamina on my workers, or I can go ahead and sell it on the auction house if I've got a surplus and just want to make some room for 1,300-ish silvers. So not a bad profit, not very quick profit, but over time it definitely adds up. And so the last thing that I want to go over with the workers nodes is, I mentioned the trading before. Making sure that you have the connections between those nodes is extremely important, so that way you can sell the items that you trade. Trading can be a way of making quite a bit of money really quickly. And basically what you'll do is find the trade manager. You can also find them by using the NPC finder, and it'll auto-path us right to them. But what you're going to do is, as long as you have invested in somewhere in the same node that you're in with the trade manager, you can take a look at what he has to sell. As you can see, this Bartuli's Odd Adventure, it's currently selling for 80% less than the normal price. So if I can find somewhere that's selling for over 100%, then I'm going to pick up a nice profit. So one thing you can do is spend your energy points to view the market price. It only costs one energy, and it'll show you the different places that you can sell it. So if I took it to Boniva Island, I'd make about 20% profit. Western Guard Camp would give me 20, 30, 35%, and so on and so forth, as long as you have them connected. So if I was going to buy the Bartuli's Odd Adventure, I would definitely be taking it to the Western Guard Camp to sell, and so you would just go ahead and return out of that, take it, pick however many you want to buy, purchase it, and then run it all the way down to the Western Guard Camp, find the trade manager here, and sell it to the NPC. When you buy something from a trade manager, you'll notice that it gives you a price guarantee. In this case, that price guarantee is 24 hours. So if you hold on to trade items for a while, you may lose out on money, you may make money, you never really know. But you're guaranteed that price for at least 24 hours, or whatever that item says. I think most of them are 24 hours. I don't think there's really any, at least in the beginning, that are more than that. But again, you do need to make sure that I'm only able to sell it to the Western Guard Camp because I do have a node connecting them all the way through by having Bartelli Farm and Tuscany Farm invested in. So once you've gotten your first worker, you've gotten a potato farm going, you've made some beer, you've got some extra contribution points at that point, you can start building out from there and decide where you want to invest your points in. And a lot of it's going to depend on just what you want to do. Do you want to be a farmer? If so, invest in those farms. Do you want to make weapons? If so, then you may want to look into investing in things like, back out of there, investing in things like I don't have that unlocked, but there's there we go, the quarry here that you can invest in to mine rocks and stuff, which you'll need for crafting weapons, things like that, if you're going to sell those on the auction house. Or if all you care about is you're not really going to use it for making money, at the very least, invest the contribution points in so that you have the nodes connected, because you also get benefits for having the local node when you're out in an area, getting increased drop rates and things like that. So it's good if you're going to be grinding in one spot for a while. Spend the points and get that extra loot. And then when you're done with that area, you can always pull your points back in. The points are not permanent. I can always go back to Valinous Forest, decide, I'm not really doing anything with this gathering, it's not selling, it's not making me any money. I can pull those points out and use them somewhere else. So that pretty much wraps it up for now on nodes and starting your node empire. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I will try to answer them to the best of my abilities. So, thanks for watching. Later.